For those who are unaware, Mana, he was relatively inactive, I want to say 2024, most of 2024, most of 2023 as well, not dedicating as much time to the game. But when Stormgate Early Access came out, Mana, he dove in headfirst. Like, he was deep in Stormgate when it comes to streaming and making content. And when Stormgate died down a little bit, that's when Mana, it feels like almost like his fire was lit again, where his like competitive drive was sparked. And as Stormgate was dying down, he kept streaming, kept making content, and this time more centralized on StarCraft. And that kind of coincided with, like, you know, around like halfway through last year. So it's really cool to see. Really cool to see him going toe-to-toe with some of the other best and even younger players out there. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Pylon, we have, speaking of Polish Protoss's, the red Polish Protoss player representing Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Terran from South Korea representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chats as we jump into our TvP. And for those that are unaware, this is, I was going to say a rematch. I mean, kind of. We have seen some of our Polish Protoss players pop off, but I was referring to Cristiano. It was last week in Sparkling Tuna Cup where he 2-0'd Cure, by the way. And he looked dominant. He looked crazy good as well. Where Cristiano was able to pop off. In recent times, from referring to Gerald, maybe not against Cure, but against Bjorn. Gerald versus Bjorn when it comes to Sparkling Tuna Cup, 2 weeks in a row at this point now, and even last week when it came to the Pigstore Monday, Gerald has been looking very, sorry, not Pigstore Monday, the Tenacious Tussle is what I meant to say. Gerald has been looking very, very competitive in PvT in the mid to late game. That's what I will say. Like, Gerald, he has taken maps and he has looked very, very dominant over Bjorn. If he can get to that kind of game state, if he can get up to a 4-base economy, slow the game down a little bit, or I should say gain map control, and get into that maxed out composition and start working on his bank, like Gerald, he's a beast. But it's about getting there. We saw that on smaller maps, on maps like Whispers of Gold, on maps like El Dorado, Torches in the new map pool, I should emphasize Persephone in the new map pool as well. That is where an aggressive Terran player can punish Gerald and stop him before he can reach his final form. So we'll see if Cure can pull that off. We shall see. As Cure can be a very active player as well. I know that Bjorn has a reputation for that, but Cure is also, I would say, a stronger TvP player than Bjorn. Like, Cure has some of the best TvP in the world. I think I would say top two behind Clem. I think I would comfortably say that. That's Cure for now pulling away. Behind this, Twilight Council opener out of Gerald, going into Blink, and we're settling in. Mana getting the Taser retired buff. If you recall, we were making jokes about how Mana, he was like bullying the other TL boys, bullying like Skillus and the Laser. Like, Mana, he's like crazy, making them work for their paychecks. And even taking their money as well. Please, Mana versus Harsum. For those that maybe don't tune into our broadcast, we usually follow players and we try to stay in the same portion of the bracket where we begin. So we started the broadcast off with Gerald versus Eva. So we're going to be following that into Gerald versus Cure, and we're going to be following that into the upper half of the bracket, right? We try not to jump around. We try to avoid like jumping around to like other portions of the bracket into other matchups. But I'm sure another streamer out there is going to be covering some of the other matches like Mana and Hearthstone, or like some of these other matches on the other half of the bracket. As now Curie does go for his Widowmine drop here into the main. Does go for his drop. Likewise, Geralt, he's in position. He's ready for it. And it shouldn't get much done. Hellion poking in towards the natural. There's a sentry, but only the sentry. Likewise takes 3 hits to kill a probe. Shield battery coming into play. Does save the mineral line. Drop is deflected. Jesus. As Gerald, he has a sole defense so far. He denies the drop. He takes down the Hellion. Gerald holds. He does hold. Likewise, back at home, Cure building up on 2 bases, getting to his own bio tank into stim, combat shields +1. Tank is in position. Gerald, he can threaten a dive, but he shouldn't find much damage here. Yeah, the tank will zone away. Oh, barely out of range though. He's going for the tech lab. He can nibble away at it, but the tank does reposition. Can he still get it? No, not quite. As stim will be preserved. And Curie's secure on 2 bases. With this, he's secure, he's building up, he'll soon move out with his stim and combat shields. Third CC is on the way, so he's not going for a 2-base all-in. Meanwhile, Gerald switching things up, not going into Colossus, but going up Blinkstalker, 3rd base into Storm. Let's go. Storm is on the way. Charge up +1 as well. +1 armor, of course, for those charge lots. So Geralt being a little bit frisky here with his tech of choice, avoiding the Colossus. Wood Angel coming in, Woodman's do borrow, and Geralt, he does pull away. Oh no! Oh my god, hi! Geralt, he did flinch, and he did not react in time. He hesitated, 7 probe kills, that is brutal damage. And with that cure, he even escapes with both Widowmines. Both of the Widowmines do survive, then going for another drop. Again, Geralt, he did react in time, but then he pulled back, he pulled away. Again, there's a little bit of panic going on there. And here comes Cure. Cure is pushing right towards that 3rd. Storm is available. There's a first Storm. Storm does graze the army. But the 4th base is denied. Yeah, Geralt barely not ready for this. Does have another Storm. And Curie's content. Cure, he denies the 4th, backs off. No line drop back into the main. Oh, gets another 4 probes, and he saves both with him. Like, oh god, oh no. Not like this. We spoke earlier about how for Gerald it's all about getting into that kind of 4-base economy, and he's not getting there. Right now, Cure is punishing him, getting probe kills left and right, denying the 4th base over and over again. That is Cure's win condition. Cure, he is up heavily here when it comes to that army size as well. And it's going to be a tough hold for Gerald. It's not impossible, but it's going to be tough. Has to rely heavily here on those storms. Has to rely on those storms. Geralt, he's still trying to reprobe, trying to resaturate. It's so difficult to recover after losing that many workers that early on. 12 probe kills. How's it moving in? Army's in position. Army's pre-split. Line drop once again. Getting another 2. And oh, this time will not be able to escape. Up! Oh my god. As the Widowmines, they do splits, the medevac does attempt to get away. And shouldn't quite be able to. Yeah, Widowmines are hunted down. Whew. Okay. And Geralt can now focus on the main push. But again, this map is so direct. It doesn't take long at all for this army to push across the map and to hit the 4th. There's a scan. Geralt, he double expanded. Taking bottom left and center right. Geralt, he needs more time to recover. Cure, he's pushing again right down mid. He's almost there. EMPs will zone away. And Geralt, he's out of position. The base is exposed. Nice Storm. Tank goes down. But there's just so much bio here. Yeah, there's no consistent splash damage. Storm does pop off, but alas, Cure, he lifts. Takes down the base, takes down the expansion. And Cure, he will clean this up. Yeah, brutal EMPs. There's maybe 1 Storm left. Oh. Storm goes off, doesn't connect. And Cure, he can clean up this army. He wants it. Catches a High Templar. Meanwhile, thankfully, Gerald does have a fourth. Like, thankfully, he has an economy to work with. He's now getting a fifth base going for the center expansion. But again, these bases are so difficult to defend. They're just so out in the open. EMPs, they pop up. Zero Storm. Zero Storm. We have a flanking High Templar coming in. Storm zones mainly, but doesn't connect. And that's all we had left. With that, Cure, he can stim, and he can win. Just momentum heavily in favor of Cure. Getting worker damage, don't get on the fourth base. Once the fourth base went down for the first time, that was almost game ended there, right? It's just so difficult to keep up with that. And the map doesn't help. And that doesn't help as Cure, he pushes. Cure, he finds the bottom left-hand base. Finds the expansion. This is the one base keeping Gerald in this game, and it's also going to go down. Gerald double expanding, trying to hold on. Let's pull away. So I'll say attempt to run by. I mean, they're doing what they can, but so far, Cure is keeping up. Oh. As Gerald, he has been able to squeeze out a couple of disruptors. Like nice Storm, it connects with one Marauder. The concave is too great. Storms are popping up, but there's just an overwhelming sea of Terran. He just takes the storms to the face. He doesn't care, Pat. He doesn't care. And with that, he takes down the expansion once again. GG gets called, and Cure, he will take a lead in the series. He will take game number 1. Let's go. Whew. GG. Cure does take a lead. Again, a very strong start for Cure. Once again, Cure, he was able to pop off with his drop play. More importantly, he was able to deny the fourth. Deny the fourth base. That was after the economic damage as well. And Gerald, he just could not maintain a fourth base. He could not maintain his economy and couldn't compare when it came to the size of the army either. GG. GG, well played. We'll see if Gerald can bounce back. We'll see what map we load into for that second game. When it comes to Pylon, when it comes to game 1, that map is very difficult to be more defensive, to maintain those bases. The rush distance by ground between third and fourth is so short, is so small. That's why we saw that Cure, he just walked across and he just knocked down bases left and right. He just could not be stopped. A lot of the bases are more isolated. And coming into, now we just go to the extremes. We go from Pylon into Maganatha. Maganatha being the largest map in the map pool. Let's go. Now here we have a higher chance for Gerald to maintain his bases. I do think that Gerald is going to have an easier game here when it comes to taking his third, taking his fourth, and defending these bases. We'll see how Cure will adjust. Does he still try to be as aggressive? Does he still try to be as assertive? Or does he calm things down and take a different approach? Let's go. Really, this is when he just proxies. I wouldn't be surprised, I'll be honest. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Maganatha, we have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Streamer Zone down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back, and we'll see if he can force that ace match. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Cure. Here we go. He's the manager. Exactly. Ah, no. He's brutal. Never understood why pro players are allergic to cannons and mineral lines. The reason for this is because pro players can defend without cannons and mineral lines. It would be inefficient and, in a way, a waste of resources to get cannons. Obviously, you can look at that last game and be like, oh, like that would have helped, I suppose, when it comes to the defense. But we mentioned at the time, Gerald, he did react. Like, he did react in time, he did pull away, but it did look like he hesitated or he panicked at the last moment and he pulled back for 1 second and the mine shot still went off. So unfortunately, he had a bit of a lapse when it comes to his reaction. But in an ideal world, and it happens more often than not, Gerald defends, right? Gerald, he pulls away, he defends, and he is able to shut that down without having to rely on something like cannons for defense. Obviously, there are moments where that doesn't occur, but ideally as a player, you want to get to the point where, you know, you're not relying on something like that. You're not relying on onset crutch because it's hurting you in other ways, right? So now we are settling in. We have our initial openers. Likewise, Economic Opener out of Cure going for the Rax Expand. Likewise, Gerald going for his own Gate Cyber Expand as well. So we are going to be settling in. So already Cure just going for a different approach, going for a more economic start. From here, we could even see Gerald mix it up and go for a Stargate opener. Stargate play is typically reserved for larger maps and more safer maps. Maganatha would constitute as one of them, so we could see Gerald mix it up. Likewise, we'll see how many gateways he throws down as well. As we have our tech of choice, going to be a Twilight Council. Okay, Twilight Council opener once again out of Gerald. From here, we can go 2 Gate Blink into a faster third for a greedy build. We can go 3 Gate Blink Stalker without gases for a bit of a safer build to still take a third. We can go for something more aggressive, 3 Gate Blink into a Robo, into a Prism across the map, or double down and go 4 Gate Blink Stalker, which I can't imagine doing well here. As you can see, the Reaper Cliff, or the ability for Stalkers to get into the main, is very limited on Maganatha because of the terrain. So we expect a more economic start. I say that so far, 2 more gates, so it's going to be 3 Gate Blink. So 3 Gate Blink Stalker out of Gerald. Looks like a very safe start. Hellion does rush in. And the Hellion is locked out of the main. I believe that also denies vision. Yeah, denies scouting. Cure, he is not aware of the opener. Not aware of the tech. I mean, he saw both gateways though. And from here, Gerald expands. I mean, technically, there could be a 4th gateway in the main, and it could be 2 base play. Of course, we can see that Gerald, he's just expanding, taking his 3rd, and building up towards the mid game. You know, Akira back at home, throwing down his extra Raxes. Working towards his 3-1-1 setup. Mind Drill is moving out, so we saw how effective this Mind Drill can be. Gets spotted by the Zelnaga. So Gerald, he is aware. And this time we are hoping that Gerald is able to shut this down ahead of time. As Cure does boost into the natural. Does boost in. Gerald, he pulls away. And, oh, he barely doesn't get the Widowmine. But he will zone away the medevac. Very nicely done. Better movement, better positioning here from Gerald. Takes down both Widowmines, and the medevac will escape. But now there's no more to threaten the bases. Whew. So this time a much cleaner defense here by Gerald. And again, this is what we were hoping for last time, in the last game. So takes down, or we'll lose 2 probes. Takes down 2 Widowmines. Better trade for our Protoss player. Likewise, he will chase Akira all the way back home. Security's not done, moving out with the Raven. Likewise is secure. We should be seeing a 3rd CC momentarily, I would imagine. Like, 2 base play is less effective here on Maganatha. And once again, Gerald going for the same build. What I mean by that, we have High Templar. We have High Templar morphing in. We have Storm on the way. We are not opening Colossus. We're going to be following this up with Storm instead, which can be risky. We saw that in the last game. Colossus, they provide for consistent splash damage. Storm are heavily reliant on energy, on mana, on the High Templar. And again, Storms are limited. Meanwhile, Kira moving in. Auto turrets into the main, getting 3 probe kills, not a bad start. And range up towards the natural. Stim is not done. There are some High Templar to defend, but that's an expensive defense here for Gerald. So Curie even getting one High Templar would be worth it. Cure, he distracts. While he distracts, he unloads. Stim is done in 8 seconds. Then he can stim in. And he's here for economic damage, but he might find a High Templar. Oh, does go in. He gets one. Yeah, takes down one. Going for another. Takes down 2 High Templar. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, brutal pickups. And that was worth it. That was well worth of a cure. Gerald from 5 down to 2. Sorry, down to 3 High Templar. Does lose 2. So a nice snipe there from Cure. As we are now taking the third base on the way. Gerald getting his 4th. Now, we mentioned before here that this is the largest map in the map pool, so the chances of Gerald actually successfully defending and maintaining a 4-base economy is much higher on this map. So I do actually like this quite a lot here for Gerald. Even though he just lost 2 High Templar, he's still in a decent position. He's still establishing his 4th base. We can see Cure pushing out. He gets spotted by the Zelnaga tower. Gerald, he's aware. And Gerald, he can start getting ready. There we go, warping in extra units. High Templar moving out. Remember, this is too early for Ghosts, so no EMPs. But the army does move in. Gerald not quite in position. Yeah, expecting a different angle. And just going off on the Zealots. Tank does go down. Nice pickup. Gerald playing it safe. Does pull away. Leaves out 1 High Templar. Just the one who's got 4 left. 4 more Storms. And Storms, they zone back the army. And Gerald should be fine. Yeah, he should be fine here. Another Storm. And Gerald, he does hold. Even not quite catching the Raven. Oh. Not quite, but Gerald, he saves the mineral line, saves the expansion, and getting his 5th base alongside this. Did lose 1 High Templar, but only 1 in that defense. And you can see the stark contrast between this game and the last. Cleaner Widowmine defense, cleaner 4th base defense. Gerald, unlike the previous game, is keeping up in supply. Oh, does not get the medevac. Uh-oh. Gerald, we have to be careful here. So run back towards the natural. Gerald pushing in. Looks like he wants that mineral line. Ooh, does go for the storm. Double storm, 9 SCVs, not bad. Yes, get the hell out of here. Gets the storms off. Zelsa poke in. And Gerald backs off. He backs off. He doesn't lose any High Templar. Does pull away. The Bay is in production. 2nd rover for double Colossus production. Gerald needs a little bit more time for the Colossus. And his 5th base is about to be saturated. But you can just see how much more freedom Gerald has on a larger map. How much more freedom, how much more comfortable he is. Taking another expansion. But Cure, now he has Ghosts. Now he does have those EMPs. He gets spotted. Cure gets spotted. Zella Runby moves out. Ooh, and we start to pull events without Colossus. So Runby's on the way. Storm just zones, no big connection. Another Storm coming in. Nice EMP. EMP connects, takes out the High Templar. Cody has to pull away at the same time. Zelsa busts into the main. They do drop off. SCV's going to be going down. And do we go for the Storms? Not quite. There we go. 16, 18 SCV kills. But Curie's committing. He's committing in. Do we have any more defensive Storms? He gets 1. Only 1. Gerald, he's in danger here. He's in trouble. Army stimming in. Zelsa coming from behind. And Gerald, can he hold on? He can. He can and he will. High Templar, there's 3 of them to defend. He should be fine. Takes down the Ghost, shuts down the main army across the map. Cure, he's hurting. And Gerald, he dominates. He takes down the main army. 1 medevac escapes. Oh no! Barely 1. 1 medevac gets away. And back at home, Cure, he lost so many SCVs. Cure down to 60 workers. And again, he plummets an army supply. He lost how many Ghosts? 5. 5 Ghosts just went down. Stalkers are ready in the main. And Cure is vulnerable. Cure, he's so vulnerable. Oh, let's go, the boys! The boys are being pulled. Let's go. I mean, Gerald, he knows he's so close to a win right now. He knows he's so close to breaking Cure. The boys are in. Do we have a storm? There we go. We have the flanking storms. Getting on top of the army. Lands one, lands two. There's two more left. One more left. Yeah, the storms aren't good enough. And with that, the base goes down. That's a kill on the base. You know, the probes, they helped. They helped kill the base. The drop is racing back. The drops, they run through the cannons. They get shut down. And Cure, there's no way out of this. He has no economy. He has no army. Cure, he is struggling. And Gerald are taking a 6th expansion. He has double the base count. 6 base against 3. And Gerald is remaxing with Colossus. That's all he needs. Just waiting for those reinforcements. As he is maxing out. Getting a 7th expansion. Now he's still waiting for his production. You can see like the army's still quite small, so he's just waiting for, there we go, waiting for the Colossus. Then now waddling in. And now Gerald can push. He doesn't have any High Templar, which is a little bit concerning. So he has no storms with this, but he should be pushing. He should be trading. The other thing that's hurting Gerald is that he has too many workers. He has 94 probes, so that's another reason why the army's a little bit smaller. So Gerald, he needs to trade. So we can warp in more units. He has to make use of that supply. So the army coming in from behind. Gerald, he spots the army. And Curie has to get the hell out of here. Up! Gerald's getting caught. Takes down one of the Widow Mines. Nice Widow Mine shot. Slap on some of the Zealots. Curie, he defends back at home. He defends. Gerald's still pushing in. Again, this posturing here from Gerald, it's hurting him. It's allowing Cure to max out. And we've been here before. Gerald, something that may come into play, he only has 2 robos. The fight's about to occur, and Gerald, he will lose a big chunk of his army, and the lack of robos is going to mean that his remax is going to be late. It's going to be a late remax out of Gerald. So even though he has a bank, like, spending it in time is going to be an issue. So far, Storm going up. CMP here on the Archon, on the Colossus. Nova zones away. And again, Gerald, he should bleed out a little supply here. But it's about the remax. Still trading well, though. Oh my god. Still trades well. Takes down most of the bio. Colossus are going down. And again, Gerald, he has a bank. So he will lose all this army, which is fine. This is perfectly fine for Gerald. He's rebuilding, remaxing. What isn't fine is, again, he only has 2 robos, so his remax is limited. But he has those warpins, he has those stalkers. Takes down the Vikings. GG gets called. Gerald's still perfectly fine. And Gerald, he will tie the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. We're going to the ace match. And again, the map itself did play its role. There's a reason why the maps play a crucial role when it comes to how certain games and certain builds play out. We saw that this time, Gerald, he shut down the Widowmine drop. He shut down the main push at the 4th base. He was able to get much more comfortable, much more informed, and much more in control of that game, of that map. GG. GG, well played. But this is one of the more extreme maps, is Maganatha. It is the largest map of the map pool, so that's the most comfortable that we're going to be seeing from Gerald. Now we load into a slightly smaller map. We're going to be loading into Tokamak. I say smaller, I believe this is the 2nd largest map in the map pool, so I feel like this is also in favor of Gerald. Once again, it's all about Gerald securing himself and getting up to that 4-base economy. If he can get there, as you can see, he can be solid. Just has to get there. We'll be speaking on the map once we load in. Let's here we go. We're going for the ace match. Going for Tokamak. And spawning in the right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. Tying up the series 1-1, forcing the ace match. It is Gerald. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid, being forced into the ace match. It is Cure. Here we go. And welcome one and all to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the largest maps in the map pool. I would say this is the most defensive map in the map pool, more so than Maganatha. Maganatha is large, but Maganatha has a lot of attack paths, has a lot of angles, and the bases are more spread out. They're more spread out, they're more isolated. Here on Tokamak, the bases are more centralized. We have our natural, we have our third, and we have our fourth base. More importantly, a distinct feature is instead of having this avenue here open, it's closed. So on maps like Maganatha, this area is open to attack paths, it's open to everyone involved. Here it is closed off by rocks. So now there are less avenues of attack. Now it is easier to secure yourself on 4 bases. So this is a much more defensive map, likewise quite large in its own right as well. Because of that, I do like Gerald's chances when it comes to maintaining a 4-base economy. But again, we'll see how Cure adjusts. Something that I will say is that yes, your 4 bases are closer together, they're easier to defend, but the rush distance is shorter. Rush distance is shorter here on Tokamak compared to Maganatha, so we'll see if Cure can make use of that and can still, we'll see what kind of timings he can hit, how aggressive he's going to be. For now, economic opener. Cure going for an economic start, going for the ranks into CC on the low ground. Likewise, Gerald back at home, setting up as well. So standard openers, economic from Cure, standard from Gerald. From here, Cure, he's searching for proxies. Wants to make sure he doesn't get caught off guard. Makes sense. Again, the likelihood of Cure going for a CC on low ground is a lot higher. And to try to punish something like this, you can go for a proxy gateway. Proxy gateway into proxy zealot. Last Cure is secure. And once again, Twilight Count's opener out of Gerald. Let's go. Now, last game, Gerald did go for a 3-gate blink. He went 3-gate blink into a fast third before gases and before a robo. So it was a pretty greedy build by Gerald. Safe, but again, more economic focused. Here, Reactor Hellion. Okay. Cure mixing things up here. Now we have options. This could be Reactor Hellion into a Hellion drop into the main. We could try to go for, I was gonna say like a Marine drop alongside Hellions, but we are not continuing Marine production. Okay, Reactor Hellion into Reactor Widowmine. This makes more sense. So it's gonna be a Widowmine drop into the main, and ideally you want the Hellions to hit at the same time to try to pull apart the attention of the defending player. Hellions move out. Back at home, we have a 2-gate setup. Ooh, 2-gate blink into a third. Gerald's being greedier this time. Here comes that Hallucination Scout. Yep, here comes the third. So this is a greedier build than last game. Remember, last game it was 3-gate blink into a third base. This time 2-gate blink. So less warp-ins, less gateways, faster expansion, less units to work with. And we'll see if Gerald gets punished for it. Here we have a quadruple mine drop into the main and 2 Hellions towards the natural. I like this though. Gerald, he fully walls off. I mean, he saw the scout earlier, but with the full wall of the Hellions, they do nothing. And he spots, yeah, he spots him. He does spot the Hellions. He knows he's fully walled off. That means he can focus everything in the main. Oh, does spot the medevac. Does spot the drop. Widowmines into the main base. 3, 4 Widowmines are revealed. And a couple of these Widowmines, they should escape. Yeah, 2 of them, they do get away. Hellions, they are denied. Cure, he saves 3 Widowmines. Oof. That is brutal. Gerald does defend, but what's scary here is that, again, Cure still has 3 Widowmines in the corner of the map. So you can go back in. You can go back in. This could have been worse, especially with a Hellion harass. This could have been a lot worse. Gerald, for now, he does hold. Back at home, Cure getting to his own 3-1-1, and Cure, he shouldn't be pushing without stim. If this was Byan, he's very fond of moving out with his first 2 tanks, with this Marine army without stim. He's very fond of it. Just because it's unexpected. But I don't see Kira going for that kind of move out. Oh, as we did open up Vanilla Banshee. Okay, this time no Raven. This time no Raven, going for the Banshee instead. Does head towards the natural. Widowmine drop at the same time, going into the main. The boys up all the way. Oh no! Oh, brutal connection. 4 probes go down. Blunder defense here from Gerald. He does take down every single Widowmine at the same time that the Banshee does hit the natural. And we have the main army moving out. I mentioned before that typically Beyond is the one that goes for these tank pushes. Cure as well. Remember, no stim. No stim. The main DPS factor in this army is the tanks. This is quite risky, but Gerald's out of position. Gerald, he's out of position. Cure moving in. He's going for the pylon. The pylon is going to go down, and Gerald is being pulled apart. We spoke about that rush distance spike round. Here he's being so much more aggressive this time, and before Gerald can even think about a 4th base, he's gonna lose everything here. He gets one of the tanks, he gets both tanks, but it'll cost him 10 probes. Now Gerald, he will defend, he will clean this up, but it's a brutal defense. It is brutal here. Likewise, Medevac does get away. Now, on the one hand, Gerald, he does defend his base, right? The base survives. That is true, but it did cost him 10 workers, and that does delay the 4th. The 4th base is going to be late. Cure, he's not stopping, going for another double drop. Cure does have momentum, and he's not stopping. And Gerald, he barely does miss the medevacs. Ay, ay, ay. He's in position, but last medevacs to get away. They head for the main. He's stimming in. Does stim in, does go for the pylon, forces a recall, depowers everything in the main. Oof. And this drop is getting out of hand. Boys are being pulled, more probes are going down. And Cure, he's happy to trade here. He's more than happy to. And he even gets away. Yeah, it does pull out, does pull away. And here comes the main push. Here comes the main army. 3rd base soon to be taken. Gerald, he has been struggling. And it's difficult to take momentum away in TvP. Like, once the ball starts rolling, it's so hard to bring it back. You have to rely on catching out full medevacs. On somehow catching the army. Oh no! Speaking of. Gerald, he walks into the main army, bleeds out 3 stalkers. I mean, Gerald, he barely has an army to begin with. He can't afford these losses. And Curie is going for the kill. He's going for the 4th. Storm does connect. Not bad. Storms are ready. And with the help of Storm, Gerald, he will save the 4th. Okay. Does save the 4th. We're locking in. Let's go. It's still not going to be easy. We still have more reinforcements on the way. But the first step in actually making a game out of this is getting the 4th base up and running. And so far, he's holding on to it. It still needs to get saturated, don't get me wrong. As double drop is deflected, Cure rotates over towards the 3rd. And Gerald's not in position. Ooh. He's chasing down the medevacs. Gerald knows where he needs to be. He will force this back. Cure stimming forward. And Gerald, he does have enough time to rotate. Oh. Nice Storm. Nice Storm cleans off all the water mines. Gerald, he is somewhat ready for the drop. Somewhat. Oh, he's not ready in the main, though. We're dropping into the natural, dropping into the main. Once again, going for the Artosis pylon. Thankfully, this time not keeping everything powered. But will delay +1. Yeah, and Curie's almost maxed. He's almost maxed out. It's just been too much to recover from. Again, the critical damage was getting the 10 probe kills earlier at the 3rd, and of course trading with the army. Space is going to go down, and Gerald, he cannot keep up. Not anymore, not after the early game. Oof. Storms, they pop off. We get some decent storms, but Cure, he can take them. He can tank it. He's fine. From here, Kai Smack, he killed the expansion, got 15 probe kills as well. Ay, 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 he cripples the economy. And this ensures that Gerald, he cannot recover. He cannot recover. He is double expanding. He's trying to build back up. Or even taking his fourth, which is terrifying. The Protoss player needs to be up a base to keep up with the Terran, and the Protoss player is down a base. We see a 3 base economy from Gerald, Cure getting up to 4, which is brutal. Shows just how far ahead Cure is. Cure is moving in. Takes down the backup 4th, the would-be 4th base. EMPs on the Archons. Storm coming in. We get some decent storms, but where's the support for the storms? Where's everything else? No Zealots, no Archons. Stalkers are getting picked up one after the other. And Cure can just stim in. He can just stim, and he can just win. Duh. As now he's headed towards the new backup 4th base of Gerald. And again, Gerald, he just cannot get it up and running. Oh, decent storm. Decent storm, but that was the only storm that we had left. Stalkers are going down, and he overwhelms. He breaks through once again for what, the 3rd, the 4th time. GG, good luck in the next round, and Cure, he will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. Cure, he does claim the series. Shout out to Gerald. Gerald did make a series out of it. And again, we saw how comfortable and how dominant Gerald can be if he's able to minimize that early game damage. Cure, he was able to gain momentum, take a lead, and maintain that lead when it came to the first wave of aggression. I'm referring to the Widowmine drop into the main, the Banshee towards the natural, and then the main tank marine stimulus army towards the 3rd. And that's where he was able to take a lead and get ahead, and never really lost that lead from there. Able to cripple the economy, cripple the army. GG, well played. We saw Gerald attempt to stabilize, but there was a cascading effect where he just had to reprobe. It delayed his 4th base, delayed his tech, delayed his army. Everything was delayed from that first push, and it's just so difficult to recover from that kind of loss early on. GG, well played. And with that, Cure, he will claim the series, will advance on, and the question becomes, does he have an opponent? Where are we headed? Exclamation mark. Be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves.